Welcome to this special edition of the Superorganizer Show with James Lott Jr., or as we call it, the SOS Show, because I heard the call and I'm here to help. Well, that song you just heard was the beginning of a song called Breaking the Habits, which we'll be talking a little bit about that today on the show. But it's by a group that I want to give basically my thanks and gratitude to, my sympathy to, my heart to. Over the weekend, we lost someone who took his own life at age 41. Chester Bennington, lead singer of this group, Linkin Park, that you heard the song from. And I'm just so incredibly sad to hear that he passed. I had some great times to his music, to their music. My grandson and my daughter and I went to a concert together to see them a few years ago. It was 3 generations singing the same songs. It warmed my heart, and it was their music that brought us together. So Chester Bennington, to his family, to his small children, to his friends and his bandmates, I send my deepest sympathies. And that's something I want to talk about today. I'm James Lott Jr., your host, and it is July 24, 2017. We are almost to August. The summer is flying by. It's a beautiful, actually, morning here in Los Angeles, California. And this episode's a little serious. This one's a little more serious than some of the other episodes that I do. But all my episodes are serious in terms of giving information. But this one's a little more serious. We're going to talk about what organization can do to you mentally, or how mental issues affect organization, or lack thereof. I think we need to talk more about that. And with Chester's death, and before that, Chris Cornell's death, he actually killed himself on Chris Cornell's birthday. We don't talk enough about it. I think I want to just break the stigma and the shame and the silence. Depression is real, and for some of us who are in the public eye, everything may not be all that you see. And I had a rough year last year myself, which I fully have talked about a little bit here and there. I lost a brother, and I had to change my business, and just a bunch of different things happened that got me some low points. And being in low points can make you think all kinds of stuff that's not really positive. I know what it feels like to, in times of my life, you just feel like you want to give up. You feel like it's too much. There's too much to handle. And I just say this to everybody, because I got help, and I think everybody who helped me, I think people, you need to get help. Don't just check out so easily. I understand how it can feel, but try to get help. And there are hotlines, there are organizations, there are people, sometimes your friends, sometimes your family, they're there, that will be there for you to help you climb out of that situation, for you take that final step. And so I applaud all those folks who do that kind of work and who are there for their friends and family and for strangers. It's not easy. And I just kind of want to talk about how that really works in the hoarding, pack ratting, whatever habits you have in terms of bringing stuff into your space where it overpowers your space. You can call it whatever name you want yourself, whatever name. I'm not a hoarder, I'm a pack rat. I'm not a pack rat, I'm a hoarder. I'm a this, I'm a that. Doesn't matter. If you're living in a space uncomfortably, that's a problem. Like, what do you think about that statement for a minute? I'll ask it in the question form. Are you living in a space uncomfortably? Now, I'll take it further, or separate in some ways. You can say that's when it goes, well, I live in a small space. I can't, this is what I can afford. I don't mean that so much. Because if you do live in those spaces, you still need to look at what you have in your space. But I'm talking, if you live in a house, you live in a nice size apartment, you have a place that, where every part of your space is covered. That's what I mean by living uncomfortably. If your bedroom, your closet are overflowing with clothes and shoes, that's living uncomfortably. It's not that you have 5 pairs of shoes and you only have a small shelf to put them on. That's, you try to do that. That's one thing. But I'm saying where you have more shoes than shelf, more shoes than racks, more clothes than closet. That's what I'm talking about. And we're going to talk about that today a little bit. So just ask yourself why you think about this. Am I living uncomfortably? We're going to take a short commercial break, and then we'll be right back and talk more about this here on the SOS Show with James Lott Jr. Hi, I'm James Lott Jr., host of the podcast Extra Connections, the show where we connect you to the community. I talk to people from all areas of life: arts, health, business, politics, and education. People and places you need to know about, connecting you to the community at large. The show is Extra Connections. It's available on Spreaker.com/JLJmedia. There's a new episode every week. That's Extra Connections on Spreaker.com/JLJmedia. We're connecting you to the community. Are you a producer looking for a host for a new project? Or are you interested in a career in hosting and don't know how to begin? Or are you a host looking for a community? Well, welcome to Meet the Host, the place where hosts meet. Go to youtube.com, Meet the Host, for the show, which airs every Monday. It features hosts from all genres talking about their world of hosting. Then continue the conversation and go to Meet the Host on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where we post news, entertainment, tips, and more, all geared to hosting. That's Meet the Host, the place where hosts meet. Success. I am success. I am ready. I am ready. I am ready. I am ready. Welcome back to the SOS Show with James Lott Jr. I am James Lott Jr., the super organizer. That's right, kids. And that's my new single, I Am Ready, available on all music platforms, everywhere. iTunes, Amazon, everywhere. And it's a positive song about success that I do. We're talking about mental and organization, or disorganization. What I wanted to kind of bring up to you guys, and that is, and many organizers see this when we do this, there are reasons why we're disorganized. Everybody has a reason on some level. Some of them are not as heavy as others. We're talking about the heavier reasons. A major life event can stop you dead in your tracks and make organization not even feel like it's important at all. And in some cases, I totally get it. For the immediate thing, when it's in the immediacy of something that happens, totally get that. But for some people, it continues. And some habits and things happen that are born out of that. For example, one of the things that happens is you might get a shopping addiction. You lose somebody, a spouse, partner. It could be to death, it could be to divorce, it could be they left you. And so suddenly, to compensate for that, you start going online shopping. I've had many clients go through this. It's the thrill of the chase and the find. It's, I bought this thing, whether you need it or not, it's not even the point. How big or small it is not the point. But you bought it. Looking forward to getting that package in the mail. You open it up. Oh, here it is. And then you're done. Then you go back to feeling the same way again. It's just becomes this kind of addiction. To the point where you order something every day. There are boxes coming from UPS and FedEx and USPS every day. They gotta find a way to store this stuff, to bring this stuff in the house. And you don't feel any reason to organize it. You got it. You put it in the corner. And you saw it as one box, two boxes in a corner in the living room. Suddenly you can't see that corner. Suddenly you can't see that whole part of the living room. Suddenly it's bringing itself further towards your direction. So now you just have a pathway in your living room from one room to another. It's a small, skinny pathway because it's filled with boxes or things. And I tell you, even when there's small stuff, 20 boxes of small stuff is a lot of stuff. You know, you can have a bunch of big things, but you only put so many big things in a room. You can pack up a lot of small stuff in a room, and medium-sized stuff in a room, and that's what the space takes up. So when I asked you in the last segment if you're living uncomfortably, to have a pathway in a major room of yours that's not living comfortably. Think about that for a second. If you can't see the floor, you don't have room to move around, you don't have room to everybody in there, that's not living comfortably. If you can't move around and you're constricted or confined to a certain space, that's not living comfortably. I think you guys get that point. So to me, that's detrimental to you. That's bad for your health. There are health danger issues, physical danger issues. But if you're caught up in your brain and your mind because you're still hurting over something, that's not going to enter your brain at all. That's not good. So anybody listening to this who has somebody who's going through this, just know that they've checked out in terms of, I gotta make sure I make this room good. And some of them may even be at the point where they recognize it and want change. I've said this before on my show, when things get really big and seem out of control, that's when inertia happens. So they see it, they recognize it, they wish it changed, but they have no reason to do it. They have no energy, no wherewithal to start and do it. Or sometimes they don't know how to start. I'll give that legitimate part. But they're afraid to ask somebody for help. Because then the shame comes in, the guilt comes in. All those emotions, they're embarrassed. We gotta break that too. You have a right to feel whatever feelings you have at any given time. And I always tell people you should own them. You should own those feelings. And you should work through those feelings. If they're not positive, work through them. And it's okay if you don't want your family members to see or your best friends to see stuff, hire somebody if you can. Like a life coach or a therapist or a counselor or an organizer that can help you in their unique way with non-judgment. Get you back on track, get you started. I want to preface that organizers are not therapists, they're not counselors. We don't diagnose, but we have techniques, we have tools in our baskets that we can help you with getting decluttered, or as some will say, editing your space. But again, it all begins. I can talk to you on Blue in the Face about all different steps and things, and I give tips on my blog, SOS.com. I do all that, but we got to talk about the mental state. I feel that we need to be really careful and cautious. We need to acknowledge that person's feelings, but also be firm in that we want to help. This doesn't mean overpower or overtake or not listen. Just means our resolve has to be, okay, here's the bottom line. We want them to survive. We want them to live their best life. So let's find a way that is unique to them to do that. And it may be a combination of getting a therapist or a psychologist or psychiatrist or whatever mixed in with you, or a life coach mixed in with you to help. There's no problem sharing the wealth in terms of all the help you can get. Because your brain is the one that's saying, I'm depressed, no one loves me, I'm depressed, whatever, I'm just going to buy this stuff. And then you get used to the house being the way it is on some level, which I know people who are not like that just can't even understand. But you do. And if you don't have any, I know for me, like an example, I'll share my story. I was traveling a lot last month in June. So I didn't get a chance to really do a lot of cleaning and straightening up. So a couple of times when I came home with my luggage, I tried to unpack my luggage right away, but I was just tired. And it was hot. We had a hot June in LA. So the energy level was completely low. So I'll say my bedroom was a mess, or my version of a mess, for at least probably 2 or 3 weeks. But it's not something in me, because I had broken, well, I was never messy, but I don't have, my habit is, I can't live like this. And after 3 weeks, I went on a clean, and it cooled down here in LA. I went on a cleaning spree. But see, some people, they don't have that click yet. We gotta get them to the click. They don't have it. So it just stays messy, and then year 2, year 3, year 4 goes by. And you always say, well, this is always messy. You know, it's always a mess. I'm really busy. I mean, every excuse in the book comes out. And we got to stop the excuses. And seriously, I say this all the time, the hardest part is beginning the process. Once it's going, it's fine. Once it's done, it's all about maintenance. So it's all possible. And I just think, again, it starts with the mindset. I have a program in my life coaching series, 15 Tips to Self-Care, Series 1, on a lot of help. It's called Getting in the Mindset. You should read that and listen to that podcast. It's on Speaker.com and iTunes. But basically, it's just telling you, okay, you gotta be there for yourself, present for yourself. You have to have a commitment to yourself. You have to have faith in yourself. These are things you have to come to. And I can't tell you how to come to them. Those are things you can come to them either via a professional. I say professional usually can help you do that. Sometimes it can be a friend, a pastor. It can be anybody sometimes that will say something that will click for you. And I think once you decide, okay, I'm going to commit to myself, then you got to take those steps. And you got to trust in the process. You're not going to get everything right away. You're not going to just stop all of a sudden cold turkey. But I think greatly reducing what you're going through is the best thing on earth. Because eventually it will lead to you not doing it anymore. There are certain habits that I had that I broke. Like one, for example. You share this one. Ice cream. I love Haagen-Dazs pints of ice cream. There's certain ones I have certain favorites, like cherry vanilla and vanilla chocolate chip. And some of them are really my favorites. Peanut butter chocolate. I eat a pint a day. It's not good for you. I just stopped. And it took me a hard 3 or 4 days to detox off that ice cream. But I did it. It is amazing. So you have to kind of go into your mind and go, okay, this can't be normal. This can't be normal. And you gotta figure it out. So you gotta figure out this is not what I want to be doing. I have to figure out a way to give back to myself to get out of the situation. So as I said, I encourage you guys to kind of get help for that. You got to break the habit that's been created. We create habits, we create situations, we create routines. So you have to equally create a new routine, a new habit. It takes time. It just does. That's just how it works. You gotta be patient in the process and trust in the process. Like I'm saying over and over again, that you will, if you continually do something, it will work. For me, the ice cream was just eating it every night was just not good for me. The 4 or 5 days I stopped eating it, period, it was hard. But then I did it, and now I don't even want it anymore. Like the taste of ice cream every night, it's just too much for me now. And actually, I had sorbet the other day on frozen yogurt. I did replace it with other things that are more healthy or healthier. And so I'm creating that habit. That ice cream made me feel comforting. There's something about that ice cream, I was eating it for a reason. And the same thing with disorganization. Disorganization can be comforting. That's what's so interesting. You go, I don't understand how someone can live this way. I can. I get it. For some people, having knickknacks everywhere and all the walls covered in posters and pictures, they're cocooned in. The shell, they're creating a shell because they don't want to deal with certain things in their life. So like they're physically creating a shell. Or a shell, or a dome, or a force field, what words you want to use. So you have to kind of get over that too and say, okay, I'm tired. I should be trying to protect myself from the world. The world is what it is. And it's up to me what's going to hurt me or not. And that can be hard too. So these are all things I'm bringing up for people who maybe going through themselves, or yes, somebody you know who's going through this. Give you a little insight. Most organizers who are listening to this know what I'm talking about, and I'm sure totally agree and understand. We know how to bring you out of that. And for me personally, I am a small steps lead to large rewards person. So I understand that you can't just we're going to go in, we're going to start cleaning the kitchen. Well, that may not be the best course. It may be we'll start with one cabinet at a time, once a week, until you start seeing and your brain starts connecting. This looks good, like this. I don't want anything else in there. Or now I get it. Now I'm getting the habit of, I want to kind of clean on Sundays. Every Sunday is my day to really get in there. I kind of think I'm really excited. I want to do Sundays. Like, that stuff does happen. So keep an eye out for, I guess, just for your clients, your friends, your family, whoever it is, yourself, who is going through something tough. It is okay to feel those emotions. Feel them. But also get assistance, get help somewhere. And like I said, if you find, here's another thing: if there's an organizer you found and you don't like them or you just don't click, it's okay to fire them and get another organizer. There are lots of organizers out there, and each organizer has their own specialty, their niche. Many of them have, because we're going in your house, many of them have personalities that work better with others. So I suggest you get a professional organizer, get one that you really mesh with and feel like you can trust. That'll make a difference in the world. And like I said, if you don't like the one you have, you don't have to stay with it. Go to another one. It's just that simple. We could do that. Another thing about mindset and about feeling, you have to change your language. Changing your language is key. Saying things out loud is key. I do this exercise where I say these certain things to yourself. You can go on my blog and see them. Saying personal affirmations that are positive to yourself out loud. That's a good one. You do it enough, you believe it at some point, and it promotes positivity. Don't see anything wrong with that. You have to, also the words you choose to use. I'm very careful with the words that I use. I think before I speak. A lot of people don't. But that's the point. It's like how you talk about yourself. There's a difference between self-deprecating and just plain old, just like dumping on yourself. And, self-deprecating, I make fun of my gap in my teeth or my laugh or something like that. People make fun of me already. That's being self-deprecating. But I don't say, well, I'm just a fat slob, and I'm just a loser. I don't do that. To me, that's not self-deprecating. That is a problem. And also keep in mind, whatever you think is really bad, chances are we've seen worse. I just want to tell you, don't be embarrassed, don't be ashamed, screw all that. That all is just, don't do it. We've seen worse. We've seen it all. Many of us see it all. And it's okay. We know you got there. We know you want help, and that's the biggest smile on our face we can have. And I feel so strongly about the mind, because the mind can do so many different things to you. It can make you sad and alone and depressed. It can also make you happy and smiley, and you really. The brain is such a fascinating organ. It's just fascinating. It's fascinating. And it just makes me sad when I see people who are in situations because of something that they're upset about. Sometimes you gotta face your fears and face your past to move forward. You know that. So it's you have to really pull that together. I'm rooting for all of you. That's my whole thing. I'm going to try to say that. I'm rooting for all of you. I feel anybody can do this. It just takes some time and care and patience with yourself. Learning how to forgive yourself is another thing in terms of this process. You got to learn how to forgive yourself. You got a situation because you got into it. It doesn't even matter why and how, but you got into it. So it's now get out of it without the whole judgment and weight of it. Just like, okay, now I got myself messy. You know what? I got to get myself out of this. This isn't working anymore. No shame, no guilt, none of that stuff. We don't do that. That stuff's just it's life. Everyone is human. We are all human. We all do human things. Things happen. They happen. And so we need to tell our brains sometimes to shut off and shut up. Because we think too hard. And it's like, you don't want to do that. You want to be clear and concise. Life is good. Yeah, think about it, you have some opportunities that people don't have. You know. So I'm rooting for you. I think you can do it. I don't think I'm the only person in the world who can do it. I think everybody can do it. So about getting your mind correct. Your mind in a space that you can actually see a future. See in terms of organization, see a future where you can move about your space free and clear. Where things have a place in their home. Where everything is grouped together, needs to be grouped together. And they're in the spaces that are easily accessible, you know where they are. That's my dream for all of you guys. And ladies. I'm James Lott Jr. This is just a shortened version of the radio show. This is about a half hour. You follow us at the Disorganization Show on Facebook, the SOS _ show on Twitter. I'm at James Lott Jr., you know, all those things. If you want to be on the show, which I actually have a list of people who want to be on the show, and I'm going to work those through. But you want me on the show too, please let me know. Contact me at any of those locations, private message me, and let's talk. And you have a story. If you're an organizer or if you're a client, I encourage anybody who's a client, what's about their experience with an organizer, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you. I think I'm going to post that out there. I would love to. If you have no problem talking about it, I would love to hear from you, have you on the show. Maybe I'll give you a prize. I have a few special things. I'm here in Hollywood. Maybe I'll get something away to you. Like one thing. Because again, I don't want to add any clutter if you're all uncluttered. But like one little small thing. But let me know. You can follow me. All the places you can find me, James Lott Jr. All stuff there is private messaging. You can private message me. Or jlottjr@AOL.com. You can go there and email me if you like. You guys and gals and women and men, male and female, I love you guys, and I love doing the show, and I hear you, I see you. If you feel like nobody sees you or hears you, I do. James Lott Jr. does. I see you and I hear you. If you need assistance or anything, contact me, and I will, if I can't help, I will give you somebody who can. It's never too late. It's never, ever, ever too late. Ever too late to get help. And I encourage you all to do that. Have a great week, and I will talk to you soon.